Hello Sim Racers! Welcome to the walkthrough of the Circuit of the Americas, also known as COTA. We'll go and dive right in. Let me change the webcam here. Alright, so this is a very famous track, very modern track, and I've heard many people like it and also many people dislike it because, you know, it's a very modern track, it's made from Tilke, you know, yada yada, blah blah blah. This whole the usual stuff about all modern tracks. In all honesty, I love the flow of this track. It has everything for everyone it sees. It is a very technical track. It takes both an agile car and a very well balanced and stable car to go fast, so you really need to compromise your setup, and it takes great knowledge, and I'm still, you know, finding out how to approach certain turns, and I believe we're gonna see lap times going down and down as soon as people get their hands into this track. What can I say? Let's go on and let's start our walkthrough, at least find out the main reference points and how to approach some of the turns, or pretty much all of them, and see what we can do. Right, so, okay, so now we start our actual walkthrough. Look at that uphill. So you're just going straight here, it's pretty much flat, and then you have this uphill. It's like 40 meters distance in altitude, practically 40 meters going uphill. This is the start-finish line, and then it just goes up. It's really, I mean, let me show you from the outside. This is really impressive. So let's go out from our car here and have a look, and you can see how from the top of the hill practically you can see the whole circuit here. It's really incredible. And practically, you come up here, this is like a very tight hairpin, and instantly it goes downhill again. Pretty much the same height difference. Hard downhill, and you need to take this one flat out. So, let's go back into our car and start taking our reference points, right? Alright, so we are going flat out here, and we will start braking very late. Why? Because as we said, it's really uphill, so you can really brake much later than usual. We're gonna get as a reference point, we're gonna get the 100 billboard here. This is it, and it's also the white mark on the guardrail and the white mark outside of the actual road here, outside of the curb. We have this white mark. So this is your reference point. I do advise you to start braking a little bit sooner at first, because this is you know, from the get-go, a very technical turn. You will need to trail brake a lot, and you will need to learn to modulate the brake pressure in a very delicate way, because not only we need to turn in to the left and trail brake, we also need to take into account the variability of the camber here of the road, and the fact that we are going very uphill, and then we arrive right at the top of the hill, and instantly the road becomes flat. You need to hit the inside curb and then go downhill. It's really very tricky. So start braking just before the 100 mark and the white marks here on the road. You will see that there is also a bump here on the road. It's quite bumpy as a track, so an extra level of difficulty. And as you're braking and you are arriving into this white line of the road, start already turning in to the left, even though you cannot see anything, it is quite blind. So here, start turning in like this, keep on braking, and you can see that the road starts to become a proper hairpin. This is where you need to start modulating your braking pressure in order to give more grip, lateral grip at the front of the tires, and be able to turn in completely and go over the curb like that. Okay, now just before arriving at the apex over the curb, you need to release the brakes, because the road, as you can see, becomes completely flat. We are on the top of the hill, and if you are keep on braking, it's very easy to get understeer from too much braking. So release the brakes as soon as you can before hitting the apex. Look at pretty much where you need to be. Let's have a look from the outside. You see, this is where you really need to be. You need to be somewhere like that. Now, be very careful. You need to get this curb here, and it will help you with the turn in. But if at the same time hit the very high sausage here, you can see this is not a sausage, this is a mountain practically. Okay, it is very high. It is going to upset your car a lot. You're going to jump, and you don't want to do that, because obviously you're going to lose a lot of time. So be very careful. You need to hit the curb inside here, but you don't want to go over that in any means. Again, once more, look at the height difference. We were back there before, and look at that. In just 100 meters, you gain 40 meters of height. It is amazing. So we are here, and we can slowly go into the accelerator. Don't overdo it, because as I said, you can already see the road going downhill, and again, it is a very impressive downhill here. So if you accelerate way too aggressively, the rear end is going to step out. Sometimes it helps you, because you know, you might get a little bit of understeer, so it will help rotating the car, but you're going to lose time every time you do this. So again, as usual, gradually on the accelerator. Once more, don't overdo it. Don't go too wide, because we have those sausages here, and believe me when I tell you, they are quite high, and they will make your car jump once again. So if you do everything properly, you'll see that you don't really need to go over this curb. There is enough space to do everything properly. But if you find yourself going over this curb, that's an indication already that you need to be very careful, because just a little bit extra width, and you're gonna be over those very big sausages, and it's going to be really bad. Right, we're going down, and move instantly as fast as you can to the left. Get all the width of the road that you can, and then you need to get the best possible line to the right for turn 2. Turn 2 is, with the GT3 cars, flat out. You have to do this flat out. There is no need to release the accelerator in order to make this turn properly. But to do so, you need to have the correct line. You will need a couple of laps of practice to make it perfect, but you really need to make it correctly. Why is that? It takes just a little bit, a wider line than normal, or a bit of, correction into the apex of the turn, and then you will slide to the outside to the left. And if you're sliding, you cannot, because the speed is so high, you cannot regain the car and get back to your trajectory. And we will see now at the exit of turn 1 why this is something that you don't want to do. So, as good line as possible. We're going like this. You will need to get over this curb, okay? And it will be a good thing to place your inside right wheels on the red part over the curb. But be very careful. This is something we should have said from the beginning. Here at COTA, because of these very wide out of the track zones that they have asphalt, the track limits are on the white line. Again, I repeat, the track limits are on the white line, so we need to be very careful to never put our outside tires. Our outside tires should never go over the curb. The moment that you pass over the white line, you get a penalty. It is severe, but we need to, adjust ourselves and our racing lines, because otherwise this track would have been just, a complete cut, and that wouldn't have been nice for racing. So we need to adjust a little bit our racing lines and be careful, but it can be done. It's not that hard. So once again, cut through here and stay at maximum to the middle of the road. That's what I've been telling you before. At the exit of turn 2, you need to stay at the middle of the road, because otherwise it's going to be very tricky, because you need to get as right as possible in order to make turn 3 flat out again. So what we're going to do here is, exiting turn 2, we will go to the right again, and under the bridge we will start cutting already to the left over the curb here. This is all flat out, and once you have go through the turn 3 flat out, then you need to place your car pretty much straight like that, and brake hard, and possibly go down 1 gear, because you should be in 4th gear by now. So go down 1 gear in 3rd, stable on the accelerator to stabilize the car, and you will need all the stability and agility of the car in order to approach turn 4 and turn 5. Those are very fast S's. You do those in 3rd gear, but do not over accelerate, because it's very easy to go either in oversteer or in understeer and lose the line. If you lose just a little bit the line here, then it's gonna be a disaster. You either going to be very slow, or you're gonna go straight through those S's, and you're gonna get a penalty, because as we said, the white line is the limits of the road. And as you can see, it's very easy to make a mistake here, all right, and end up very wide and go straight here. When you go straight here, there is not enough time to raise your foot in order to not gain speed. You're gonna gain a lot of time here if you go straight over this S, over this bend. And so the only way to make it proper is to be patient, stay in 3rd gear, and stay between the white line and not cut the turn. It's going to be really bad if you cut the turn here. We're going to see that in the fast lap, but for now, this is how we approach it. All right, so 3rd gear. Now you can accelerate as much as you can. Normally you should start braking before, but you can practically, if you're very good, you can start braking for this double turn, the turn number 6. You can start braking practically just before the apex of the first part of the turn. This turn is practically a double turn. You're gonna get 2 apex. This is the first one, and you can start braking just before the apex, somewhere around here. Okay, just before this low sausage. It's no big deal to go over that. You need to apply a modulating brake, because you are going to you'll be arriving very fast here. You don't want to lose too much speed, but you also don't want to destabilize the car into oversteer, because you're gonna end up very wide. So careful braking. Keep on braking and trail braking through the whole turn. You see, you still keep on turning and turning and turning. And if you have done everything correctly, you will be able to close the second part of the turn. This is the second apex over here. You should be able to close that. And if your trajectory is good, you can go hard on the accelerator still in 3rd gear and use a little bit of power oversteer to rotate the car and exit not wider than the center of the road again. You don't want to go wider than that. Why is this? Because you need to keep your car as much to the right as possible. Because over here, let me just go a little bit backwards. You can see that there is the start of the tire wall. Okay, just after the start of the tire wall, you need to brake really hard. Okay, but for a very short period of time, you don't have that much speed. So hard slam on the brakes and then instantly release. Oops, sorry. Instantly release. So we are going through the start of the tire wall here, and hard on the brakes, instant release, and third gear, bringing as much speed as we can, going over the curb like that. Okay. And you will instantly understand if you can accelerate again after the apex to the left. How's that? If your car is over here and you see that you have a trajectory that stays more to the left than, you know, the rubber of the road, then you can accelerate. But if you end up with your car over here like this, then your car will really start to slide towards the right. So you really need to, unfortunately, raise your foot and wait, because you're gonna end up very, very wide. So again, the trick here is, if you find your car like that, then you can accelerate and you'll gain, of course, a lot of time. So acceleration over here. The turquoise, greenish, whatever color of the side road, the colored road here ends. Exactly here where it ends is where you want to start braking very hard and go down to second gear. So you go through this, very hard braking, second gear, you place your car over the curb like that, possibly with your right hand, possibly with your right hand tires over the curb and outside the curb to the red colored asphalt. Again, be very careful to not go also with your left tires through the white line. And you need to stay in second gear and be very patient. This turn here is longer than what it seems, and you need to stay as close to the right as possible. You don't want to start accelerating and end up wide. Why is that? Here's what's happening. So this is turn number 8, and as you can see, immediately after turn number 8 we have a very narrow turn number 9. Let's have a look from the outside, because you will understand why it is so important to stay close to the right hand. So as you can see, this is the car here. We will exit and stay close to the right hand of turn number 8 in order to be able to get the best possible line and acceleration, constant acceleration, through turn 9. And what follows is a short straight, a flat out kink, turn 10, and a longer straight. So we need all the acceleration we can get out of turn 9, because all this part here is practically a straight where we keep on accelerating flat out. Okay, so let's see from the inside what is going on. We can see now the turn 9 straight from us. So once we can see turn 9 straight, we can start accelerating hard. We are in second here. Don't cut too much, because the sausage here is quite high, and it's also bumpy. So most drivers, what they do here is they arrive flat acceleration in second gear, and just before going over the curb they short shift in third gear. Short shifting in third gear obviously limits the torque available and the power available in the wheels, and that permits you to go through that chicane flat out, that apex flat out. If you keep second gear, it's very easy to go over that curb. It's bumpy, there is a sausage, you need also to turn, and the rear end steps out quite violently. You should be able to control it, but the traction control will engage. You're gonna lose a lot of time sliding and spinning your wheels, so you don't want that. So you are either very good on modulating the accelerator in second gear, or you short shift in third gear and possibly stay on full-on acceleration, at least until your tires are fresh. So that's what we're gonna do here. Short shift in third gear and flat out. Now, at the exit, here's what happens. Now, as we said, normally in this track, the track limits are the white line, so you don't want to go with the car over the white line. But when you have a double curb like this, then only for the duration, the length of the double curb, the limit becomes the first curb. This is also common in other circuits as well. So in this situation, you can practically go wider and go up like this, okay, and then get back with the car with your left tires over the asphalt. Okay, so just for a moment you can go a little bit wider and then recall the car inside the track. Just because this is a double curb, you can use a little bit of the first curb as track limits. All right, we are now flat out in third gear, accelerating hard. We're going to use, of course, all the gears. This is turn number 10. It is a slight kink. You can really, it is enjoyable because it goes downhill, but you can really go flat out here without problems and just enjoy, you know, the rush going through this very fast turn 10 downhill. So we keep on accelerating again, and we are approaching turn 11. Now turn 11 is really a very narrow hairpin. You can see the exit is more than 90 degrees. It's something like, I don't know, 150, 160 degrees turn. And we need to be very careful on the braking zone. Our reference point is the 100 billboard here, which again, modern truck is marked by the white line on the guardrail and by the white line on the side of the road. How many reference points do you need? So we have everything we need to brake properly for turn 11. Hydrate. Alright, so we brake for turn 11, and once again the road goes slightly uphill and then gets flat. So we need to be very careful and modulate our braking force and trail braking technique in order to get a very good turn here, go over the apex. Once again, we will use a little bit of the curb, but once again, we need to stay very, oh, look at this view, amazing. The guys of the circuit, our circuit 3D artists, really did another amazing job. So once again, we need to go over the curb like that, but look at this sausage over here. It's so high and it's really, really risky. I mean, you really don't want to go over this. It's terrible. It's gonna put your even a GT3 car is gonna go into two wheels, and you don't want to do that. The other thing that you need to do so is make a proper trajectory. Look at this turn. It really is 160 degrees. So you need to make a proper trajectory in order to, once you are over this curve here, you really need to be able to apply less steering wheel and go as hard and as fast on the accelerator as possible to get the best possible traction and the best possible exit from turn 11. Turn 11 is extremely, extremely important to get a good exit, the best exit possible. Why is that? Because after turn 11, we have the longest straight of the circuit. It's really a very, very long straight. It's the back straight of the circuit is extremely long. We're gonna use all our gears, and we will achieve our top speed here. It's also a great place for you know, getting the slipstream and trying to overtake. So because of all of those reasons, it's extremely important to maybe sacrifice a little bit the braking zone here and get the best possible line and the best possible traction and exit out of turn 11. Once again, don't go very wide. You can see already the sausages at the outside. They are very, very high and dangerous, so don't go over there, don't get them. You're gonna jump with your car and everybody else is going to overtake you, so you don't want to do that. Right, so straight line here. There is a slight kink, but it's practically, it's practically a straight. Okay, it goes up and down. It's like, a playground here. The terrain is really undulating, really great. Full flat out, keep on going, keep on going. So first mark you need to stay careful is to start your braking. Is, you can see it from quite a bit of a distance. It's this Marshall tent over here. Let's go and get a closer look. Here it is, you see, the Marshall tent at 150. This is your reference point that you can check from quite a bit of a distance. It's easy to look at from quite a bit of a distance. So watch this one, and then afterwards you can see the 150 mark and the white line on the guardrail, and of course the white line on the side of the road on the colored asphalt. So let's go inside the car. You can see again the tent of the Marshalls over here, and once you go over that, you can then start looking at the white line here and start maybe braking a little bit earlier for your first laps while you're exploring the track, and then later on you can get a little bit more risky and start braking on top of this, or maybe even with some cars, and depending also on your setup, a little bit later than that. But we're really talking about 1-2 meters of difference, not that much. For sure, this is a very, very long braking zone. Once again, we are arriving in turn 12. It's more than 90 degrees turn. You are going to be needed to trail brake once more and go over the curb, and once more you're gonna want to avoid the inner sausage. It's practically pretty much all the slow turns in COTA are like that. You really want to place your wheels here with precision, but not go over the very low, over the very high sausage at the inside of the turn. This is of course the apex. Once more, we can get the braking a little bit later here because we are arriving from a very long straight, and maybe not get as good exit as possible because the straight that follows is really very narrow. You're gonna need to go to the left as fast as possible. Okay, here we are, and you can see there is a white line. I think it is the sector on the main track, on the asphalt here, and then we have a white line both outside the curb and to the guardrail. You need to start your braking just after the white line on the asphalt and before the white line outside the main track. And as you get better and better again, you can push it even a little bit more. But the straight line here is really, really short, so it doesn't really pay to get the best possible exit out of turn 12. So we arrive at turn 13 and 14. It is a double turn. You will go inside this turn in second gear. You could cut a lot, but it depends how low is your riding height. If you are keeping your car very low, then you might touch the inner sausage. It's not that height, but it's not that it's not existent either. So it depends really what kind of car you're driving and how you have set up the car. So some cars might be able to cut a little bit more. Most of the cars will just want to go just a little bit over this to help the car rotation, but that's it mainly. So again, we go in. This is the turn 13. And we keep on turning. It's like a single double apex turn. Turn 13 and turn 14, it's like a single double apex turn. Once you're out, you might want to go a little bit harder on the accelerator in order to rotate a little bit the car on the accelerator with some power oversteer. Usually you are in second gear here, you have enough torque to do so. And doing so, you will end up over the second apex, which is practically the apex of turn 14. This is very strange. You really gonna need a couple of laps to understand what you're doing here. So we are going almost straight line, and once we are over the end of the curb at our left side and before the start of the curb of turn 15, we're gonna want to start braking. Now, there are two kinds of approach for turn 15 and turn 16. It is practically you need to approach this turn like a single turn again with a double apex maybe. Sorry, but maybe you can do also a slightly different approach. Let's have a look from above. Look at this. It's really very tricky. Okay, so we are approaching almost in a straight line here, and then we'll need to keep on braking pressure and make it so we have the correct speed for turn 16, which you know, it's even more difficult than turn 50. Turn 50 you can make it practically in a straight line and then keep on braking to get the turn 16. As I said, you have two kinds of approach. The easy one is go as straight as possible into turn 16, brake, and then turn as straight as possible into turn 15, brake, and then go into turn 16. Okay, that's the easy way, and most of the times you're gonna do something like that. A little bit more complicated way and probably faster one is you're gonna arrive into turn 15. You're gonna arrive to turn 15 still on the throttle, and then start braking, but not too heavy. Good enough, but not too heavy. Because you'll keep on steering, you know, so you'll keep on steering towards turn 16 and modulating your braking force. It's quite difficult, but if you do it properly, you're gonna bring more speed into the turns, and possibly you're gonna gain time from that. So steering, modulating, trail braking, releasing the brakes at some point, and hitting the apex once again. Usual stuff. Very hairpin-like turn, which means on the inside, on the apex, we have another very high sausage, and you have to avoid that. At the exit, as usual, you can accelerate, but high sausages also at the exit, so you need to stay inside the racing line and not go wide as well. Okay, turn 16, very technical, finished. We go to the left as fast as we can. We go up to third gear, and in third gear and still accelerating, we go inside turn 17. All right, and once we are over the first apex of turn 17, we release the accelerator, and maybe we're gonna need a jab on the brakes, depending, or just a slight pressure on the brakes in order to rotate the car. Because if you don't do that, you're gonna end up wide here to the left. So you're going to rotate the car and scrap a little bit of speed in order to place your car into this second apex of turn 17 and over the curb, like that. If you do this properly and have a little bit of patience, you exit turn 17 and we go instantly, keeping the same steering input, into turn 18, which is again another second apex. It's really confusing. The first time you're gonna lose, you don't wanna know where you're going, but if taken properly, all right, with the correct amount of acceleration and the correct line at the first apex of turn 18, you're gonna start accelerating hard, and the car will still have the power to start rotating with you know, a power slight power oversteer. Because you are turning for so much time, you're gonna feel the car rotation is really very nice. And if you do everything properly, you're gonna end up on the second apex of turn 18, which, as you can see, the curb is not flat anymore. You can really see that the curb goes a little bit higher. You see that? Here's the curb. Now all the other curbs here are practically flat. Okay, you can see the curbs are flat. But as you're moving towards the end of turn 18, the second apex, the curb is a little bit higher. You can see that. Okay, if you do everything properly and you just go over the curb like this, this will rotate your car even more, and it will be fantastic because it is exactly what you need to eliminate the understeer that you're getting because you're accelerating quite hard now. And the rotation will help your car to remain at the middle of the road at the exit, and this will help you to go to the right as fast as possible. Going to the right, why, you ask? Because here to the right at the 50 mark, again white mark on the guardrail, we are going to slam the brakes, stay in third gear, slamming the brakes, and then instantly release. It's just slam and instantly release, and go into turn 19. This is the penultimate turn, turn 19. It's practically almost a 90 degrees bend, but if you do the perfect line, you can really bring a lot of speed into turn 19, and you can really cut here as well. You can cut even over the sausage. The only thing you need to stay careful is that you don't want, of course, your outside wheels to go over the white line, as we said. Lots of speed, which it will make you end up a little bit wide, but again, watch as the other turn we seen at the exit turn 9, if you remember. So turn 9 and turn 19, you have the exit, which is a double curb, which means that the limit of the track goes from the white line to the first curb. So you can go out like that, okay, like this, and still be into the limit. As usual, you need to get the car back into the track before the end of the double curb here, because obviously at the end of the double curb, the limit of the track goes back into the white line. So keep that in mind. Short acceleration, and we are arriving again at the 50 mark over here. White mark on the guardrail and white mark at the outside of the track. This is our braking reference point for the last turn, turn number 20. 20 turns, 5.5 kilometers long circuit. The last turn is another almost hairpin. You need to go down to first gear with most of the cars. As usual, you release the brakes, you go over the curb like this, and you have to stay careful because, as usual, we have a very high sausage at the inside of the curb. Same stuff as always. And at the exit again, sausages, so you cannot go very wide. Hard on the acceleration here. Don't overdo it, because either you're gonna stop your move forward from the traction control engagement, or you're gonna have lots of power oversteer in first gear. So again, be careful how you applied your acceleration, but you really need to accelerate as fast as possible, because we are back into the main straight. It is a long straight, and we are back facing the incredible uphill for the incredible uphill for turn 1. All right, so that is a walkthrough for COTA, Circuit of the Americas. Let's go and drive and do a fast lap on it. Right. Uphill, look at this uphill, incredible. Very late braking, car bumps and touches the ground on the bump, releasing the brakes into the turn like this. Downhill now, we need to do this flat out. Yeah, that's the line. Flat out again. Hard on the brakes, third gear, and wait. Wait, accelerate again, and now trail brake. Rotate the car on the accelerator. Jab. Oh, a little bit wide. Almost made it. Second gear, very, very patient. Short shift in third. A little bit of oversteer there. Flat out the kink, so nice. Downhill. And heavy on the brakes. Trail brake. Exit is very important here. Let's go. Here we are, the long back straight. The hot sun of Austin, Central Texas. Can't get any hotter than this. Marshall stand and late braking. Ooh, and trail brake like that, yeah. Ooh, a little bit of oversteer at the exit. Second gear, turn in and wait. This is a double turn. Rotate the car a little bit on the accelerator. And turn and brake, brake, brake. Now, 4 turns into 1. Jump on the brakes, get in. Careful on the accelerator, a little bit of curb over here, yes. Bring a lot of speed inside this turn. Ooh. Hard brakes. And this is it. This is a lap on COTA. All right. What a circuit. And that was a walkthrough of the Circuit of the Americas, also known as COTA. The COTA circuit, as well as Indianapolis and Watkins Glen, is part of the American Track DLC for Assetto Corsa Competizione, of course. And it is available now through Steam. Go get it, and happy races.